This process began last summer, living in a small apartment in Denver with our dog Miso and our cat Yoshi. Now that we were in the process of buying our dream property, we had to figure out how we were going to move onto the property and live on it, at least temporarily, while we worked to develop it. We had to do this as cost effectively as possible, since a lot of the money we had saved was going into the down payment on the land. A couple of options we came up with included buying an old trailer or RV, having a small livable structure built, converting a shipping container, or quickly building a tiny home ourselves. But the option that ended up making the most sense to us at the time was to buy an old school bus and convert it into a temporary home for us to both live in and to move all of our stuff in. So we bought a full-size school bus from 2002 off of Facebook Marketplace for $4,500 and converted it as quickly as we could while both working full-time jobs. This ended up being the perfect option for us because it could not only act as a temporary residence but also as our moving truck for all of our stuff. And you can watch the full build of our school bus conversion right here on our YouTube channel. Right when we finished it, we packed everything from our apartment into the bus and headed towards our property.
After a few unexpected setbacks, we made it to our new town. Once we were settled in our temporary parking spot, we headed to see our property and took an entire day to explore as much of it as we could.
They're ladybugs. I love ladybugs.
Yeah, those are ladybugs. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Look, it's almost like a swarm of them.
They're everywhere. Look.
It ended up being even more beautiful than we thought. The creek was larger than we expected, and we kept finding unexpected surprises.
Oh my god, look at the size of these mushrooms. How did I miss those? They look like pancakes.
Given we've never owned property before, for us it was really wild to think that we owned all of this land and everything on it.
Did you find bones, Miso?
Most sections were completely filled with trees, so much so that we could barely maneuver through them in many areas. A couple other sections were completely clear, and we could see that animals had established a few of their own paths. Some sections were very steep and some were pretty flat. We found an old thin road across almost the entirety of the property about 2/3 of the way down. We're pretty sure it's an old logging road, since it's clear that this land was logged 100 or so years ago based on the stumps left behind. We will eventually extend a driveway down to this old road and build our dream home off of it. But arguably, the best part about this property is that it has this year-round creek along the entire bottom of it.
This creek is about the lowest that it's going to be, given that it's the beginning of fall.
When we first saw it, there wasn't a lot of water flowing, but its levels have changed a lot as the seasons change.
At this point, we were living in our schoolie at a campground nearby that had RV hookups. It was still full of all of our storage bins and everything we owned, so it was hardly a functional home on wheels at this point. We bought a durable carport as a budget-friendly temporary storage location for all of our extra stuff that we didn't need with us in our living space. Using only hand tools, we made a small path down from the road, then cleared and leveled this small area to put the carport. We set it up and took trips with all of our storage items from the bus to the carport, leaving only the essentials in the bus. The biggest obstacle in our way was that we couldn't get our bus onto our property, and getting onto it wasn't going to be easy since there was a steep decline off of our road. The campground was costing us a daily fee, so we needed to get onto our own land as soon as we could. We ended up hiring a local excavator to build us a driveway. It wasn't cheap because it required many dump trucks of rock in order to get us off the main road and down to a pad as gradual as possible, but it was so worth it. Our guy did an amazing job on this gravel driveway, and we're still really happy with it to this day.
So we're about to go down our gravel driveway for the first time ever. We're extremely excited.
Just look how beautiful that driveway turned out.
We previously had our carport right there. We had to pick it up and move it to the end of the driveway right there.
After tackling our bus issues, including replacing a fuel line that we somehow managed to replace ourselves, as well as add some water as coolant, the last thing we needed to do in order to move the bus to our property was figure out how we were going to get electricity. We wanted to be off-grid if we could, so Max spent days researching the best type of solar panels for our property and purchased everything we would need for a high-functioning solar power system. To house the inverter and batteries, we decided to build a shed. This shed would also act as an entrance and mudroom to our bus, along with some extra storage space. This is the first structure either of us have ever built, so it was a good opportunity to learn some building skills on a low-pressure project. Check out our full build video on our page. Then, the day finally came to move our school bus home.
Today's the day! We are finally moving the bus!
Down our new driveway and onto our property for it to be parked permanently. This felt like a huge breakthrough moment for us, but it quickly turned into our worst nightmare as our power source wasn't working as expected. Unfortunately, a corrupted external hard drive lost our solar footage. But after setting up the solar system to include 16 solar panels, a 10,000 watt inverter, several huge batteries, and all the wiring, we quickly discovered that our setup was not working correctly. Turning one of our heaters on broke our system. But, more than that, we realized solar was not a long-term, dependable solution for us. With consistently freezing temperatures and minimal hours of sunlight in winter, we were unwilling to consistently monitor our energy outtake versus intake. Due to the extreme kindness of a friend in one of our darkest moments, our family lived in a home about an hour from our property where we could be warm and get through this failure. A month later, we got electricity to our property and were able to move back into our home in the bus. We could not have been more thankful.
By this time, it was December, and now that we were finally living in our bus on our property, we could focus on getting comfortable while taking care of some smaller tasks like setting up our mailbox. We also took Yoshi outside to explore his new area for the first time. He loves exploring the outdoors with parental supervision, but he prefers to be inside for most of the day. One of these days we'll build him a nice catio so he can go outside and look at birds whenever he wants. Before we knew it, it was Christmas, and we had plenty of trees to choose from. We sourced our own tree for the first time ever and decorated it in the bus. Cue the Tesla dance party. Another thing I did just to winterize the bus, this is called skirting, just so that cold wind drafts aren't going under there and the heat from the bus isn't fully lost. Soon after, we left for Oregon for a month to visit some friends and family. We returned in February to more snow than we've ever lived in and a mostly frozen over creek. We were cranking 5 or 6 heaters at a time in the bus to keep it warm enough since it was getting down to negatives at night. The bus also sank while we were gone, so we had to jack it up and put it on some heavy-duty jack stands to get into the door properly through the shed. We made some videos about how we source and use water in our dry skoolie, and how we take showers in here too. Follow along on Instagram and TikTok if you'd like to see more videos like those. Then we did a full walkthrough video for you guys of our converted bus. You can watch that on this channel as well. We're really happy with it so far. It's acting as a great temporary home for us until we build a tiny home and develop our property some more. But we're more comfortable in it than we initially thought we would be. We spent March working on a couple of fun projects that we'd really been wanting to do. First, we bought a zip line on Amazon and set that up down by the creek. We originally had it in a different spot until this happened.
Whoa, that was crazy.
We're still zipping down it whenever we head down that way. Then we weaved what's called a tree net or tree web on some trees right over by our bus. We had never done this before and it took so much more work than we thought it would. But it's so nice to have this space now to hang out on. We like to start our day sitting on it with our coffee or wind down on it at the end of the day with a drink. And you guessed it, both of those videos can be watched on our channel as well. We also found an old rim on our property. We brought it back to the bus and repurposed it into our new fire pit. Now we have campfires at night about twice a week, making s'mores and looking at the stars.
One day, we realized that we had never seen where our creek connects with our small stream that crosses into our property. When we went to look, we were in awe that we had a beautiful waterfall flowing on our land. Max made this awesome drawing to give you a better idea of where everything is on our property. You can see the driveway and the bus up top, the property lines in red, and the creek and zipline at the bottom. And we'll add this waterfall here in the corner. This will be a fun way to help you guys visualize where we are on our land as we continue our projects. We're currently working on cleaning out a lot of the weeds and debris from the waterfall so we can enjoy it this summer. We'll post a video of this soon once we're finished with it. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss it. We also recently uncovered an area where we believe someone was living a long time ago. Nature has since reclaimed the area. We're still working on digging it all out, but we've already found a small bed and a bunch of old cans in this spot. We've also found a total of 6 old cars so far, ranging from the 1940s to the 1960s on our property. They're in pretty bad shape, but we'll find something to do with them eventually. Now that it's springtime, we decided to add to our growing family by getting 4 chicks to raise for their eggs. We've had them for almost 3 weeks now, and they're growing like crazy. We've also recently built them a chicken coop. Our plan is to let our chickens free roam around our property during the day, and then we'll put them in at night so they can be safe when our dog Miso is inside with us. We also put up some trail cameras, and we've already caught a bunch of animals running around, including multiple deer, snowshoe hares, turkeys, and of course, Miso. We can't wait to see what else we see in the future. Our next big project will be building our first tiny home all by ourselves. It's going to take us a while, but we'll document the entire build for you guys to watch along. We really appreciate all the support and kind words we've received thus far from you all. Thank you so much.
Now that we're caught up to current, come check out how everything's laid out and all the little things that we've done in between. So down our driveway, we have our bus. We also have our built chicken coop ready for the chicks once they're ready. We're gonna move it down there a bit once that time comes. We have our fire pit right here with some nice solar lights running above it. Our shed has been super functional, but we are still working on some small details. We're gonna paint inside of here, and we are still planning on building some shelves in this section, but we haven't got around to it quite yet.
So here's our rain catchment system. Up here the water collects from the shed and it drops down through this chain into our catchment. This has been so amazing because we haven't had to fill up from our local well in many weeks because it's been raining quite a bit at night. So we have a lot of water that we've been transferring for our showers as well as our dishes.
As you saw, we've got our tree net right over here.
Oh, good girl.
And we've been loving it so much. We recommend anyone who wants to try building a tree net to do it. It's not that hard. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of paracord. I also built a couple makeshift stairs because it was really muddy a couple weeks ago here and we couldn't get down the driveway easily. So I just made this out of some stones that I found around the property. We still have our porta potty, and we probably will have this until we get a septic tank put on the property.
So the carport used to be diagonal right here, but we realized that it wasn't very functional for us. So we decided to rotate it and move it more to the left and fill it with all of our stuff. It's nice and organized now. It was complete chaos beforehand. And now we have this spot to put our car in, and we can plug the car in to charge it when it's backed up.
I've also been working a lot on clearing out areas like this because our forest is way too thick and the trees aren't growing healthy, but now we have these nice open spaces that we can actually walk around in. And same with up here, I put in days of work trying to get this all cleared out so that these trees can grow healthy. Look, now we can actually walk around up here. This was all so dense you couldn't even get through this stuff before. And this is Rachel's favorite tree named the Great Leoshi. Thanks so much for watching this video. It's crazy to think we're only 6 months into this new journey.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. We have a lot of fun stuff planned for this summer, so please subscribe so you don't miss anything.
To check out our full bus conversion video, click here. We're really proud of it. It's one of our favorite videos we've ever made. Or click here to go to our channel to check out all the rest of our videos. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.